Hi everyone, this is Elise here at Plan with Elise, and today we are going to be doing a little Q&A over here on YouTube. I haven't done one of these in quite some time, so I threw a question box up on Instagram stories, I threw a question box over on my Patreon, and got a bunch of fun questions about budgeting, life, planning, social media, music in general. So let's go ahead and get started. So the first one is, do you have some tips on getting the most out of your planner? I do indeed. So the first thing to figure out is, what does getting the most out of your planner mean to you? What are you using a planner for? Is it home, chores, goal setting, budgeting, social media, work, wrangling your family's schedule, whatever that may mean? And then the idea is to figure out a planning system that works for you. And I say a planning system because that might be one planner. Maybe you want to see everything all at once, a week at a glance. Maybe you'd like one planner but with different sections, like a Franken planner, or maybe you want different planners for all different areas of your life. I like to have separate planners because I know when I'm pulling something out, this is what I'm focusing on right now. So in terms of getting the most out of your planner, the top first thing that needs to be done is figuring out what you want to use a planner for. And the second tip is setting a routine, making it a habit to look at your planners as often as you possibly can. And I say that because I look at mine in the morning, throughout the day a little bit because I work from home, and then again after work, and on weekends, usually more the morning and the end of the day. So as often as you can might be different. Perhaps you are a nurse and you don't have the opportunity to look at your planner during the day. Of course, not every job is going to have that option, but as often as you can is really the goal. And that's my top tip in getting the most out of your planner: is look at your planner, look at it, use it, brainstorm in it, track in it, all of those kinds of things. The next question is about budgeting. What do you do with the money if you receive your paycheck and it's more than you expected? There's a few options. And again, it depends on what are your financial goals. If you are sinking in debt and you need to get the debt paid off, any extra money I would recommend putting towards debt. Any unexpected income towards debt once you have an emergency fund saved. Emergency fund is a very personal thing. There's a lot of different ideas in personal finance about what that should be. It was always $1,000, and then the pandemic hit, and many people realized that $1,000 was not enough to keep them comfortable in terms of a job loss or some sort of emergency happening. The emergency fund that I'm personally comfortable with is 1 month of bills saved, because if I have 1 month of bills saved and something happens tomorrow and I lose my income, I know that I have a month. Right now, it is a job seekers market. There's a lot of jobs out there, and I have a strong resume and I believe that I have the ability to get another job within a month. But if you live in maybe a more rural area and you aren't looking for a remote job or things like that, there is different factors that would contribute to an emergency fund. So anyway, in terms of what to do with the extra money. So if I were to get a check with extra money, it would probably go towards one of my top savings goals right now. One of them is to save $5,000 this year. Another one is to save 1 month of expenses, which is almost $3,000. That's in addition to the $5,000. Or it can be used for sinking funds. But again, if you have a debt payoff goal, I would recommend putting any extra money towards that debt, because the longer you have debt, the more interest you're paying on it, the more you end up paying. So if you purchased a Kindle on credit and maybe you got it on sale, maybe you didn't, until that credit card is paid off, you're adding to the cost of the Kindle every single time or every month as interest increases. So the top goal is really getting that debt paid off. The next question Tips on starting a YouTube channel if you are new to happy planning, but not to planning. So that's what I would make the YouTube channel about. Here's what you do. I've always been a planner. Now I'm a happy planner. And here's how I'm using these products. Here's how I'm incorporating my previous knowledge of planning into happy planning. Here's why I switched from whatever planning system I was using, and hang out with me along the journey of figuring this all out. While there are so many seasoned happy planner users and YouTubers and Instagrammers and all of that out there, I think that probably every day someone new discovers happy planners, and just all different brands. People discover new products all the time. And so having a video geared towards other people who are new, just like you, I think would be ideal in terms of starting a channel. The next question, good Instagram photo tips. I don't know that I'm the person to ask this. There's also another question in here similar to that. What's my least favorite part of YouTube? Photos. I love filming videos. I don't love taking photos. And I think the reason is because I don't feel that I'm very good at them compared to other photos that I see. I have trouble staging photos. I can edit them pretty well, but I have trouble staging them. So if you're looking for a tip from me based on what I do, I try to show in a planner photo other products I used. So whether it's a specific sticker book or pens or other stickers. So I try to bring those in so someone can look at the photo and be able to immediately know, oh, she used the bright type sticker book. And then also other things in the home. So maybe there's a navy spread. Maybe I'm using the indigo sticker book and I'll want to bring in this, and that'll add a little bit of pattern, some texture, some color into the photo. I think flowers and plants are always a great option, just to add a few fun little things. I think also the trend of photos on social media has changed. When I first started my Instagram, the idea was, or not the idea, but what everyone was doing, planner on a white background. That was it. And then a sticker book would be thrown in maybe a year later. And then some more accessories and staged props and things like that. And now there's a wide variety of them. And there's some photos that I see others posting on Instagram that are like art, absolutely beautiful. The ones that make you stop scrolling in your feed. I don't know that those photos will ever be the photos that I take, because I just don't have that eye. So if you're looking on tips for photos, there are other channels that I know have videos. I believe that Mary Ellen of Planning with Bumble has a video about that. I think that Desiree of Happy to Plan with Desiree has a video like that. I'm sure there are others if you look up planner photo tips or something like that on YouTube. And what else? Product I regret purchasing. Okay, years ago, Happy Planner had these sticker rolls. They were boxes and they had rolls of stickers in them, maybe like bill pay and appointment and things like that. And at Joann, we're talking like maybe 2018, they were on clearance for 99 cents. And I bought a ridiculous amount of them and I no longer own them. I wouldn't remember to use them. I had a really hard time storing them because they weren't that easy to store. You could use something like a washi drawer like I have and I use, and I think I have seen people use them, but I regretted purchasing it because I bought it because it was a good deal and for no other reason. And if you spend money that you didn't originally intend on spending, you're not really saving money, you're spending money, because I only bought it. So let's say I spent $10. I only spent that $10 because it was on sale. I wouldn't have spent it otherwise, so it wasn't even money saved. The best planning advice I've been given is to do what works for you. So I think that there can be a lot of situations in where you might see something that another person on Instagram does and you're like, wow, that really looks good, or that works really well for them. And you try it and it just doesn't work for you. And the other part of it is creating something or using a planner only because it's something you want to share on social media. And that was, we're going to move my pillow back here because my back's a little bit sore today and there we go. I need some comfort. For me, that was a horizontal. I've tried a horizontal many times for wellness and I'm not using it right now. I stopped in November, I believe. Yeah, I think in November. And I wanted to be good at it. I wanted to enjoy it. I think I also got into a point in my life where I didn't need to journal as much. We go through seasons, right, of life in terms of emotions and things we're going through and our loved ones are going through. And when I started using my horizontal, I was there. I mean, I remember exactly when I started using it, and actually it wasn't even a horizontal planner. It was note paper that I would draw a horizontal spread on. And at that point in my life, I needed it. I needed to journal. I needed to write down my thoughts. And then I just continued. But once I figured out that it wasn't really working for me anymore and I didn't feel the need to journal in that sense, I stopped doing it. So to go back to the original question of what's the best planning advice I've ever gotten is do what works for you, not what works for someone else, because they're not in your life, living your life every day. I think our brains all function really, really well, and I know our brains all function really, really differently. And so what works for one person doesn't work for another. Here's a great example of how our brains function differently when it comes to two very simple things. I was talking to a friend the other day who also has a YouTube channel, and we were talking about editing videos. And she mentioned that she might edit edit a video when someone in her family needs her, or checking on a pet or something like that, or if she has to get up from her desk to get something. And I was like, well, I just stop the video and then I start the video again when I'm back. And she doesn't like doing that because she would prefer to edit it out. I would prefer to merge two clips together. So that's a very simple thing, and it would never occur to me to keep rolling and then go back and edit. But it's just like a personal preference thing. Next up, how did I save for Go Wild? So Go Wild is a planning conference that is typically held every year. However, it hasn't been held for the last 2 years. So the last Go Wild was in 2019. The next Go Wild was supposed to be in 2020. That didn't happen. It was pushed till 2021. That didn't happen. Now it is in 2022. It is in March. So when Go Wild was first supposed to happen, the person who I was in a relationship with at the time purchased my ticket for me as a Hanukkah present. Tickets released in January of 2020. Hanukkah was December of 2019. So he purchased that as a Hanukkah gift for me. And at that point, all I had left to save for was the flight, the hotel, and any other spending. So what I did is I did some research and I saw what other people saved. And I feel like most people say about $2,500. Of course, that depends on where you're coming from. If you are local to the location, you don't need to fly, that's going to cut out a decent amount of money. If you don't even need a hotel and you're that local, that'll also cut out a decent amount of money. If you are flying from another country, that's going to add more. But I took a number, I think it was about 2,500 at the time, and divided it by how many weeks I had left until Go Wild. Then Go Wild got postponed. And at first, my plan was, well, I already have this money set aside. I am not going to spend it. I'm going to keep it so that next year when Go Wild actually happens in 2021, I will have the money saved. And that was my plan for a while. And then my life circumstances changed. I needed to move. Things happened. I needed to find a new apartment and a security deposit and furniture and all of that. And I was like, okay, I need this money now. I can start saving for Go Wild when that happens, because at that point it had been pushed to 2022. So I can start saving for Go Wild once that's going to happen. But no, at that point, I'm sorry. Does anyone else not know what year it is? Because I'm in that boat all day long. Everything changed and I needed the money around September of 2020. Okay, September of 2020, we were still on track to do a 2021 Go Wild. But I said, I will have the time to save that and I'll make it a priority, but I need this money right now. And that's making a smart financial decision. It wouldn't have made sense to me to keep the money saved, set aside in my bank when I needed it more in that moment, because I was in an emergency. I needed to find a place to live. And that was more important for me at the time than Go Wild. Once Go Wild was pushed until 2022, then I knew that I definitely had the time to save the money. However, because my flights that were purchased were originally purchased for 2020, when it came time to book the flights for this March, they were all booked with credits. I may have paid a little bit more on top of that. So really all that was left to save for were the hotel and food and just other transit, like if I need to take an Uber or something like that. It was a long answer to a short question, but I hope that gave an answer. My favorite thing about being on the Happy Planner squad. I think that I have two favorite things. One is getting an opportunity to see product and receive product, which I'm so grateful for. And then the other are the friends that I've made from some of my other fellow squad members that I may not have had the opportunity to connect with if not for being on squad. So I'm really enjoying it. I can't believe we're halfway through in February. Yeah, because I think it's through August. So halfway through. Next question. Would I ever consider making Plan with Elise my full-time job? Never say never, but not likely. And there's a couple of reasons for that, maybe more than a couple. First of all, I love my job. I am a project manager at a digital marketing agency. What that means, or what my company does, not my company, the company I work for, is we build websites, we do social media marketing, and we do search engine optimization, SEO, which means getting your search results higher up on Google. So if you live in Los Angeles and you own a pizzeria and someone types into Google, do we do like this typing or this typing now? I don't know which is the more people are doing. Let's say they're on their phone. Best pizzeria near me. And that's one of our clients. We want to get their search results higher up on Google. So my role there is, if you are the owner of that pizzeria, you and I have a conversation. And then I work with a team of designers, writers, editors, all of those things, coders, to make it happen. So that is my job. I really enjoy it. It's fast paced, it's busy, but I've been there for 5 years and I love my job. So one of the reasons why I don't see Plan with Elise being a full-time job is because I really enjoy my job. I'm not necessarily looking for a change. The second part is because I have the time to do both. I'm busy. I'm doing a lot between my full-time job, my YouTube channel, Instagram, Etsy, Patreon, brand things, reading, being an aunt, being a friend, making time for self-care. It's a lot, but right now I have time for it. There might be another point in my life where I don't. If, I have a partner or kids or something like that, something's got to give, right? But at this point in my life, I'm not giving anything up to work for myself in terms of Plan with Elise. Like, nothing else is falling behind. So it wouldn't make sense to me to give up my full-time job, because then what would I do with those 40 hours, right? Like, there are things I could create product. I could probably go exercise. There are things I could do, but it's not something that I'm in need of. I'm not finding myself wishing that I had more time to create, because I'm able to do what I've done while working a full-time job, and that is because I'm committed to it. If it means that I wake up an hour earlier one day because I know that I'd like to get that video done, then that's what I do. The other part of it, from a budgeting standpoint, is that I am personally, at this point in my life, not comfortable giving up my full-time income. This could all go away tomorrow. YouTube could go away tomorrow. you just don't know what's going to happen. And so it's not reliable. Also on YouTube, in case you don't know about how it works in terms of ads and revenue, you don't make the same amount of money per video. You don't make the same amount of money per video in certain months. So what I was making in December, which is a really high earning month on YouTube, I am making like a quarter right now of that. And so those numbers really fluctuate. Patreon has been a great source of income for me, but Patreon, someone could cancel at any month. Their financial situation might change. They might not like what I have to offer. That could change at any given time. So there's so much fluctuation that I'm conservative when it comes to my finances. And I feel that that would be a move that I wouldn't be willing to risk, again, for the foreseeable future. None of this is against anyone who has made it their full-time income. I think it's amazing when people go and they take that next step, but those are the reasons why I won't. And again, primarily because I don't need to. This is all working for me just fine the way it is. Next question, what is my reading routine? My reading routine is about the same Monday through Thursday. I'll read before work, usually about 30 minutes right before I start work. And I will read after work. So my daily routine is that I wake up, shower, make my bed, blah, 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 brush my teeth, and make coffee. Then I'll film a YouTube video. Then I'll read, start work. Then I take my lunch break where I usually will film another YouTube video or answer emails or run to the bank or the pharmacy, have lunch. Then I go back to work until a little bit after 5 usually. Call my mom, we chat for a bit. Sometimes I will call another relative. It might be an aunt or uncle or cousin or something like that. And then I will usually read until I have dinner. And depending on how much I like the book I'm reading, I might even read after dinner or just watch a TV show before I go to bed. So I'm usually picking up my Kindle 2 to 3 times a day, Monday through Thursday. Fridays are a little bit different because my work schedule is normally 9 to 5. Most Fridays I work 8 to 4. So I don't film YouTube videos before work, but sometimes I will read. And I haven't been reading that much on weekends lately. If you saw my reading journal flip through that went up yesterday, you would have seen that most weekend days I didn't read. It's something that I enjoy doing more on weekdays as kind of a way to come down from the other jobs that I'm doing. So that is my reading routine. The next question, my favorite band or hype song. My favorite band is the Beatles. My favorite hype song is Bruce Springsteen, Born to Run. That's my favorite hype music, Bruce Springsteen, that like really good Jersey music. I've been listening to Born to Run a lot lately. But that's my favorite hype music. My favorite music when I need some breathing and serenity is usually Tom Petty. My favorite music in general is classic rock. Put on any kind of classic rock music and I am a happy girl. When did I start using Happy Planner? In April of 2018. I was looking for a craft and I was strolling the aisles of Michael's and came across Happy Planner and was like, this is pretty cool. I could probably plan some stuff and make this be a productive craft because I definitely needed some productivity in my life without really knowing it. And I figured that planning was a good excuse to be crafty while also being productive. And I never would have imagined it would have turned into what it has. One planner item for the rest of my life. What is it? This. Give me a sheet of note paper and I'm a happy girl. I love using note paper as a brain dump, a master to-do list, get everything out of my head. Everything that pops into my head when I'm in the shower, when I'm trying to sleep and it happens in the middle of the night. I don't need a daily planner. Not a daily, but like if I can only choose one planner item for the rest of my life, it would be a note paper because you can make a full list. You could write Monday list, Tuesday list, boom, boom, boom. All you really need to plan is a paper and a pen. So I guess I need 2 planner items for the rest of my life, and that's a paper and a pen. What I love about Happy Planner note paper or filler paper is that it's punched. So I can just pop it right into my planner rather than maybe a spiral bound notebook where I'm trying to flip back and forth and figure out what page I'm on. So any sort of customizable or configurable, removable system is what works best for me. Stickers are fun, but paper and pen, just to note all the things, get them out of my brain on paper, can calm me down almost instantaneously. Excuse me. What do I do for fun? A lot of this. I I really enjoy making videos. I really enjoy working in my planner, playing in my planner. Other than that, I have some friends that live locally who I love spending time with. I am a very proud aunt of a niece and nephew, and I love spending my time with them. I really do enjoy reading. I find it fun just to get lost in a story. And I'm so glad that I've fallen back in love with reading. And I say back in love because as a kid, my parents had to tell me, stop reading, go to sleep. You have to go to sleep, because I would stay up all night reading. I would get rewards by going to Barnes and Noble or Borders. Remember Borders? And I was a literature major in college. I was a literature and creative writing major. And then after college, I just stopped reading. I stopped loving it at that point, but it's come back into my life and I couldn't be happier. So I also love going out to a restaurant or a bar, having a nice glass of wine. And I feel like this is like a dating. It's not just, those old like dating videos that people would put. Okay, we're gonna skip that part. So, how do I reward myself for my hard work? This has changed. So I think that what's important for me to note is that I've changed a lot over the last couple of years. Sometimes I don't recognize myself, and I didn't realize exactly when the changes happened. They just kind of happened. So in the past, if I achieved something, I would have gone out and bought something and spent a lot of money to reward myself for it. And I don't really do that anymore, because for me, if I set a goal and I achieve that goal due to my hard work, that's the reward. The reward is checking it off in my planner. There have been times that I have made purchases that were something that were useful and monumental of a specific situation. So, for example, when I launched my Patreon, I did go out and purchase something for myself that I use every single day. But every time I pull it out, I remember that moment when I launched my Patreon, because I remember that this item was because I did that. And so I think that rewards don't always have to be monetary. Like I said, checking something off in my planner is definitely a reward for me. But sometimes there might be something really special that you'd like to go out and spend money on, but it can be an item, it can be an ice cream cone. It doesn't have to be something huge, something bank breaking. My least favorite part of YouTube, it's the photos, taking the photos. I love being able to film a video, get it uploaded and out there, but then I think the promoting the video across other areas of the internet is what can be time consuming. Taking a photo, editing the photo, sharing it on Instagram, sharing it in my stories, sharing it in Facebook groups, talking about the video can be really time consuming, and it doesn't end up being my favorite part of all of this. What YouTube channels do I watch? I don't watch as much YouTube as I used to. Channels I'm enjoying right now are Jessie Braun. Someone recently pointed her out to me, or Lakin pointed her out. Well, not to me personally. She shared her in her stories, and I found her really relatable. I used to love watching Tati. She's a makeup artist. And I do watch other planner channels. I like watching people who are budgeting and goal setting and just decorating their planners and getting inspiration and learning. But again, I don't spend a ton of time anymore on YouTube. I really don't have much background noise while I'm working. I like that focus and really focusing on work. And then, as I mentioned, when I kind of gave you my daily schedule, there isn't a ton of time left there to do as many other things. A friend asked me the other day if I spend a lot of time on TikTok, and I was like, no, that's on purpose, because if I spend time on TikTok, I'll fall down a rabbit hole, and something else won't be done on my to-do list that day. It might be reading, it might be, I'm not going to say I'm going to watch TikTok and not call my mom, but I might stay up later than I intended to. And so I really do like to stick to a somewhat, I don't want to say strict schedule, because I don't feel like every moment of my day is booked. However, I'm in a position right now where I do feel that every moment of my day is booked. When this video is being filmed, it's actually being filmed the same day it goes up. So today is, I'm like looking at my non-existent watch, Tuesday, February 8th, I believe. I am leaving on a trip in 8 days, and then I get home, and then 9 days later, I'm leaving for Go Wild in California. And so I have a lot of things that need to get done in the next week, and then the next couple weeks after that. So I am on a bit of a strict schedule. And then I have a bunch of other fun things planned in the mix of all of those. Tonight, I have a Zoom with my patrons, a budget Zoom. I have a hair appointment this weekend. I have a Zoom call with friends this weekend. And I know a meeting one day next week after work. Like, there's just a bunch of all of those things that, in order to fit everything in that I would like to get done, it's time for a strict schedule. So that's it with the questions. This was a little bit longer than I expected it to be, but it was fun. If there was something I did not address that you have a question about, please answer in the comment. Please do leave a comment asking the question, and I will either answer it right away or maybe reserve it for another Q&A video if I feel that it is more of a verbal answer than it would be a response to a comment. So I think that is a wrap. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little while and for making me a part of your day. If you are not already subscribed to my channel, please do take a moment to like this video and subscribe.